16th, 1983, Brad Hewlings drove to his second World Snowmobile Championship at Eagle River, Wisconsin. Hewlings' skill as a driver and the overall dominance of his Skidoo twin-track sled made him an odds-on favorite to become the first-ever three-time World's champ in this year's big race. But Hewlings crashed while leading the Kawartha Cup feature race January 15th at Peterborough, Ontario. He shattered his left elbow in the accident and was declared out of the Eagle River races the following weekend. That meant Eagle River would have no former champions in the field because another two-time champ, Jacques Villeneuve, had left the Skidoo team after the '83 season to take advantage of a big opportunity to further a bright auto racing career. But just 2 days after Hewlings' accident, Eagle River race officials got word that Villeneuve had registered to race, and he flew into the Wisconsin Northwoods on the Thursday before the races. What followed produced high drama on the hot ice at Eagle River.
The 1984 Eagle River World Championship of Snowmobile Racing. The story of hot ice. Brought to you by Skidoo and your area Skidoo dealers.
Along with being a top snowmobile driver, Jacques Villeneuve has been a rising star in auto racing. He added last year's Can-Am championship to his Formula Atlantic titles in 1980 and 81. That success earned him an IndyCar ride this year under the sponsorship of Canadian Tire Company. That also seemed to effectively end his days as a snowmobile racer.
As far as my car involvement is concerned for next year, for next summer, they didn't want me to race snowmobile anymore, so I had to quit, and there was no way I was able to come back. So when Bradley had his accident last week, that gave me not a really funny opportunity to get back in the team, but for that weekend anyway. So I went back and talked to my car owner and say, hey, I got to go to this one. I begged on my knees, and he finally gave me the permission for that weekend. So that's how I got back. It's part of my life, and this is what got me into what I am right now in car racing. And I love the sport. I love the speed. I love snowmobile racing. Plus, you can't not say about winning the championship a third time. That would be nice.
After a short practice time at the Skidoo headquarters in Valcourt, Quebec, Villeneuve looked right at home on his twin-track sled in Friday's time trials at Eagle River. In fact, Jacques had the fourth fastest time of the day, but Skidoo's Gary Vessar qualified number one. Vessar, who had replaced Villeneuve as Brad Hewlings' teammate, was going to carry the Skidoo banner by himself until Jacques reappeared.
When Brad got hurt at Peterborough, you became the number one man for Skidoo. Now, Jacques comes in the knight in shining armor riding, and does that affect you in any way emotionally at all?
Oh, yeah, it did, but it was a positive effect. I was looking for a teammate to come down here with because there's a lot of weight on your shoulders coming down here. It's only one driver, supporting the factory. And when they mentioned Jacques, that Jacques was going to be my teammate down here, it was quite a relief actually. Couldn't ask for a better teammate than either. Brad Hewlings is one of the greatest, but a replacement couldn't ask for better than Jacques.
Along with time trials, Friday and Saturday's oval racing program at Eagle River includes heats and semifinals in a number of stock and modified classes to produce a final field for Sunday's championship race in each class. Snowcross racing was an attraction at Eagle River for the second straight year. Snowcross is similar to motocross, only they do it on snow, using stock sleds over a course that includes various jumps and bumps, tight turns, and high-speed straightaways. The top snowcross driver the last 2 seasons has been Bobby Donahue of Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. Donahue is also a top oval racer, but believes snowcross is the racing of the future.
If you were a snowmobiler, and you were a Yamaha owner or a Polaris owner or a Skidoo owner, you go out there and root for your favorite driver on that machine. And that's something that you just can't see on the oval, and I think that's what really makes snowcross exciting. Plus, if you watch the snowcross, these SnowPro sleds, no way do they fly 40, 50, 60 feet in the air. That's a sensation that you have to experience to really describe. It's just a neat feeling, I'll tell you, I like it.
We'll have highlights of the exciting World's Championship elimination races when we return. But first, a look at some of the other drivers who were champions at Eagle River. Some of the best racing of the weekend at Eagle River happens Saturday afternoon. That's when the 36 fastest qualifiers from Friday's time trials race through a series of heats and semifinals to determine the 10 finalists for Sunday's World's Championship race. Jacques Villeneuve breezed to victory in his 8-lap heat and was doing the same in one of the 14-lap semifinals when a drive belt broke. He finished 5th, but got another chance in what some call the garbage race. It's a 9-sled free-for-all among the 4th through 6th place sleds in each of the 3 previous semifinals. But only the winner makes the championship grid. It looked like Villeneuve would do just that until he developed steering problems late in the race. He managed to keep going, but his problem controlling the sled in the turns allowed Alan Decker to pass and eventually win the race on his single-track Skidoo, thus ending Villeneuve's dreams of a 3rd world title, but giving the 27-year-old Decker another shot at his first.
Anything can happen in a 14-lap race, which was pretty evident today. And when I seen Jock go down, that was my key, and what I had left, I used it.
With Villeneuve gone, the Skidoo team's hopes again rested on 30-year-old Gary Vessar. Vessar qualified by winning his heat and finishing 2nd in his semifinal.
I tried all over the place today, and you know, I didn't find a place that the machine was really working well. But Jock had the groove. Jock had a groove out there. It was working good for him. So there'll be a few discussions back in the trailer tonight, and I'm sure we'll find it for tomorrow.
A 1st in his heat and a 3rd in the semifinal earned Greg Goodwin his 3rd shot at the title. The 27-year-old driver said being here before should help.
Experience definitely helps, especially after last year being the first 25-lapper, and I'm glad I was in it. I know last year I thought a little too conservative going into the race, and I'm not going to be thinking that way this year.
According to 24-year-old David Wall, carbides are going to be the key item in the 25-lap feature race. Carbides, which are similar to ice skate blades, are attached to the bottom of the front skis and give the drivers control going through the turns.
If they're going to keep this race competitive, I'd like to see a 15-lapper again because, like I say, the twin tracks, they go around there and they don't lose their carbides until, say, 20 laps. It's just the way they can ride them. They can ride them high and make big corners out of it, and they don't have to push them into the corner so hard and slide them sideways and all that.
One of the fastest guys in the eliminations was 29-year-old Jim Dimmerman on his Phantom, a combination of an Arctic Cat chassis with a Skidoo motor and Dimmerman's own hood and windshield design. It was good for a heat win and a come-from-behind victory in the semifinals.
I feel confident that I still have my ability, and I raced really hard in that last round, I guess just to get myself pumped up that I can pass anybody at any time, and it's just a matter of setting them up for that type of race.
26-year-old Bobby Donahue won his heat, but had to hold on for 3rd place in the semifinal to gain a spot in Sunday's big race.
That's the same machine that we went and we won the Alexandria Snow Pro race earlier this year with, and I felt quite confident coming here. I believe, though, after talking with my guys after the race, that there is a frame component broke on the sled, and that is causing our handling problems. So we should be able to get that corrected tonight and go out tomorrow and give them guys a run for their money.
Peter Van Dolder celebrated his recent 30th birthday with a semifinal victory for his first appearance in the championship final.
This is my 3rd year here to Eagle River, and we've always had some tough luck, and it started off kind of tough on Friday for me too. I've been had a lot of engine troubles and blew some engines trying to qualify, and it's just great, you know, to be in the top 10 and in the championship race.
24-year-old Chuck Decker put together 2nd place finishes in the heat and semifinal to join brother Alan in the final field.
25 is going to be a long race for as cold as it is and as far as hard as the ice is today. Yeah, it's gonna be a long race. Otherwise, if it was about 20 degrees, I suppose it wouldn't be so bad. Everything would last a lot longer.
Franz Rosenquist rode to an impressive win in his semifinal. The 28-year-old veteran of the Eagle River races feels experience is on his side.
I'm used to being here, and some of the guys that haven't been on this track before, there's more pressure to them. And when you do something so long, you get more used to it, and you don't become quite as nervous about something, and you're not as apt to make mistakes.
The other rookie in the title race is 27-year-old Joe Matuzak, who was just glad to get there.
I would like very much to finish very well, but we have to be realistic, and I do not have the speed that some of the other drivers do, and I do not have the experience that some of the other drivers do. Being on a sled of this style has just been barely days over a year.
Snowcross finals highlighted the Sunday morning program at Eagle River. In Snowcross 2, Richard Greiner Jr. of Hayward, Wisconsin took first place. Bobby Donahue was supposed to have a lock on the other two Snowcross finals, but in the Pro Stock class, Donahue got pinched off the starting line and went sliding down the track without his sled. For a while, it looked like he was out of the Snowcross and possibly the World's Championship. But after about 10 minutes of recovery time and a quick exam in the track ambulance, Donahue decided to give it a go. And go he did, riding to impressive victories in the Pro Stock and Open classes, pocketing over $1,000 in the process. Donahue and his Yamaha appear almost untouchable at this point. By the way, Jacques Villeneuve did not go home empty-handed. He got his machine back in shape, then drove back on the track and blew away the competition in the Formula One class, which features the same kind of sleds that run in the World's Championship, indicating that Jacques was just some bad luck away from his third world title. The 1984 World's Championship feature race is coming up, but first let's look at some more of the other Eagle River champs.
In a World Championship event, and I expect 10 machines to move all at once, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm going to pull the flag. I'm going to run down there, and I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to plant my feet. And I'm going to put the flag down like that and look up. And when I pull it, I want you all to move.
Those pre-race instructions would be the last quiet moment these 10 championship finalists would have as 9,000 fans waited for the start of the big race. The final grid had Gary Vessar on the pole with his Skidoo. Franz Rosenquist was next to him, also on a Skidoo. Jim Dimmerman and his Phantom held down the number 3 spot. Next came Bobby Donahue on the Vision 3 sled. Chuck Decker on his Skidoo. David Wall aboard the Wall Special. Peter Van Dolder on a Skidoo. Greg Goodwin on a Skidoo. Alan Decker on a Skidoo. And Joe Matuzak on the 7th Skidoo in the 10-sled field. The good hole shot belonged to Rosenquist, who quickly jumped into the lead. Through the south corner and into the backstretch, it was Rosenquist, followed by Wall, Vessar, Alan Decker, and the rest. The big surprise was that Dimmerman got off the line last, but had picked up a spot as the leaders went through the north corner and into the home stretch. Through one lap, Rosenquist held the lead with Wall second. But that changed quickly as Wall made a move and took over first place in the south corner. As they turned into the backstretch, Wall's lead stretched to about 2.5 lengths over Rosenquist, with Alan Decker third. Rosenquist stayed right in Wall's tracks around the south turn, and as they completed lap number 2, it was Wall, Rosenquist, Al Decker, Goodwin, and Vessar. Going into the 7th lap, things were pretty much the same, except for Greg Goodwin dropping out of the race. Wall had been the leader for 5 laps, but Rosenquist kept the pressure on. The steady chase paid off when Wall got hung up a bit in the north corner, and Rosenquist got the lead back. As they completed 7 laps, it was now Rosenquist ahead, followed by Wall, Al Decker, and Vessar. Rosenquist appeared to have just a little more zip than Wall at this point, and that lead got bigger as they headed for the backstretch on lap number 8. Alan Decker was still third, but Dimmerman had worked his way up to challenge Vessar for the 4th spot. As they cleared the south turn, they lapped Matuzak, who just wasn't getting much from his sled. Rosenquist continued to hold the lead through 8 laps. Wall again mounted a challenge to that lead in the first turn of lap number 11. It looked like he might take over, but Rosenquist found enough to hold him off. Alan Decker was holding on to third, Dimmerman was now 4th, and Vessar 5th. Wall made another move in the north corner to edge ahead, but a nice counter move by Rosenquist allowed him to just beat Wall across the line through lap 11. But Wall surged ahead as they went to turn number 1 in lap 12, and this time Rosenquist didn't have enough to catch him in the backstretch. It was now Wall, Rosenquist, Aldecker, Dimmerman, and Vessar. The duel continued in the north corner, with Rosenquist trying to go underneath Wall, but he couldn't hold the line. Rosenquist then lost power as he went up high. Dimmerman's sled nicked him, and it was near the end of the line for Rosenquist. Wall continued to lead in lap 13, but now Aldecker was second, followed by Dimmerman and Vessar. Peter Van Dolder had moved into fifth. Wall looked good down the backstretch, but slowed in the north corner again. Decker had to go high to avoid Wall, and that allowed Dimmerman to just slip into second place. As they finished lap 13, Wall led by a matter of feet over Dimmerman and Decker. Dimmerman then made his move for the lead, slipping under Wall in the south corner. Dimmerman swept through the turn and into the backstretch with that lead, completing a last-to-first run just over halfway through the race. Wall did manage to hold off Decker for second place. Dimmerman slid nicely through the north turn and headed for home. Through 14 laps, it was Dimmerman, Wall, Allendecker, and Vessar. Dimmerman appeared to be in a perfect groove, and his Phantom was running well, allowing him to slowly but surely increase his lead. The rest of the machines running in order were Wall, Allendecker, Vessar, Van Dolder, Chuck Decker, Rosenquist, and Donahue. Joe Matuzak had come to a stop along the outside wall just out of the north corner, but Dimmerman cruised by and led the pack through 15 laps. As Dimmerman continued to cruise, there was some shuffling behind him as Vessar overtook Al Decker for third place. Decker's sled was beginning to lose it after the pounding it took staying with the leaders. Wall remained in second place, and Van Dolder was up to challenge Decker for fourth. No one was challenging Dimmerman, though, and it was clear only a machine problem could rob him of his first world title as he completed lap 16. The final major change of position would begin to occur in lap 17. David Wall's machine was having problems, and he surrendered second place to Vessar. Van Dolder was also up to challenge as the rookie was driving a good race. Dimmerman continued to roll along ahead of the pack while the Decker brothers, Rosenquist, and Donahue were still running, but through 17 laps it was Dimmerman's race to win. It was in the 18th lap that the sleds pretty much fell into the positions they would hold until the end of the race. Vessar held on to second, and Van Dolder moved from fifth to third. Wall was falling back as the Deckers began to contest fourth place. There was no contest for the top spot. It was all Dimmerman's. The pace wasn't fast, but it was consistent as the veteran racer cruised through lap 18. Continued into the 25th and final lap, and Dimmerman was just seconds away from his first World's Championship. With an appreciative crowd cheering him on, Dimmerman drove down the backstretch and headed into the final corner. Years of frustration in the World's Championship race were about to be forgotten as Dimmerman turned down the home stretch to take the checkered flag and the title of World's Champion. Vessar finished second, Van Dolder was third, Chuck Decker fourth, and Alan Decker fifth. But the title and the $10,000 first place check went to Jim Dimmerman.
How did it look to you from the seat of your machine?
Oh, I'll tell you, I had a terrible start. I spun on the starting line. That's the first time I've done that in quite a few years, and I mean, everybody left me, and I thought, boy, this is going to be a lot of work. But the sled handled really good for the first half, at least the first half, and I was picking off guys, putting their, one every lap or two. And I thought, well, boy, either they're slowing down or I'm really coming through, and I thought, I'm just going to keep it going. If she falls apart, it falls apart, but it ran like a champ.
When you guys were talking race strategy last night, I'm sure you were talking strategy from running in front. Did you have a groove in mind?
Well, I wanted to stay up high because it was so rough down below, and that sawdust was so hard, so I thought if I ran towards the top part and saved my carbides, I'd let the other guys in front race. I didn't know there was going to be 9 of them, but so they raced pretty hard down below, and I could see they were losing their carbides. So I used my strategy. I figured I'd go 10 before I really started working hard.
And it's fun to win at Eagle River, isn't it?
Oh, I've waited for all my life.
Look at what's happened to me. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else. Believe it or not, I'm walking me out of the spell I was in, making all of my wishes come true. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free, flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me. This is too good to be true. Look at me, falling for you.
The 1984 Eagle River World Championship of Snowmobile Racing, the story of hot ice, has been brought to you by Skidoo and your area Skidoo dealer. Festival, as formally described in the King's Dictionary, is a time of feasting or celebration, merrymaking, and a series of performances. We're not sure if the snowmobilers of North America consulted the dictionary before unveiling a totally new form of snowmobile enjoyment, but we are sure of one thing based on the results of the first event held in February of 1983 and the success of two more held in early 1984. The words Snowmobile Festival are quickly becoming the most popular phrase to hit the sport since J. Armand Bombardier invented the Skidoo in 1959. Snowmobile Festival. The components necessary to construct a successful event are simple. Snow, snowmobiles, people who like to have a good time, and an area with the facilities capable of staging a party on the snow. It seems only fitting that the first ever snowmobile festival was held in the area known as the birthplace of the sport of snowmobiling, Valcourt, Quebec. In February of 1983, the snowmobile public was exposed to an enjoyable aspect of the sport never experienced before. Thousands of snowmobilers and non-snowmobilers alike, representing clubs, state and provincial associations, and enthusiasts from all over the world met in Valcourt to celebrate the first International Snowmobile Festival. The three-day event was filled with snowmobile activities, song and dance, and climaxed with the running of the most popular race in Canada, the Grand Prix Saint-Laurent. The success and popularity of the first International Snowmobile Festival excited the people at Bombardier. The company that started this sport and maintained a leadership role for 25 years played an important part in further expanding the potential growth of the sport by helping to engineer a new snowmobile festival concept that is expected to be enjoyed in the future throughout the entire snowmobile world. In the United States, those people who attended the first international festival held in Canada felt a similar event should take place in America. With more than a dozen potential U.S. festival sites to choose from, the Northwoods area of Wisconsin won in its bid to organize the first of what is hoped to be many snowmobile festivals held in the U.S. Meanwhile, in Canada, organizers were very busy planning the second International Snowmobile Festival. What started as a dream to bring the world's snowmobilers together in one short year developed into the reality of a worldwide network of snowmobile festivals, and all were planned with fun and camaraderie as the top priority. On Friday, January 13th, 1984, at Rhinelander, Wisconsin, the Northwoods Snowmobile Festival USA was officially started as members of the press representing the snowmobile community and radio and TV stations and publications from all over the United States and Canada helped kick off the first of three big weekends, 16 full days of snowmobile enjoyment, which when completed would entertain thousands of snowmobilers and non-snowmobilers alike. Opening weekend activities included the largest outdoor winter country music festival ever, as a huge tent was erected providing shelter for two of country and western's best entertainers, Brenda Lee and Roy Clark. Outdoor barbecues, snowmobile demonstration areas, snowmobile games, and a trade show area also highlighted the opening activities as thousands of snowmobilers enjoyed. The first of 7 days featured many activities which were held throughout the 11-county Northwoods, Wisconsin area. Representatives from the Second International Snowmobile Festival visited the Northwoods to invite everyone to their event in Canada, which was just 4 weeks away. The first full week of Northwoods events climaxed with the Association of Wisconsin Snowmobile Clubs transferring the official festival flag from Rhinelander, Wisconsin to Eagle River, where the second weekend would feature the running of the World Championship Snowmobile Derby, the biggest snowmobile race in the United States. In addition to the race, Eagle River featured a combination of everything from torchlight parades to ice sculptures as winter vacationers continued to enjoy the biggest U.S. party in the snow ever. But most had come to Eagle River to watch racing. Over 300 independent and factory drivers representing race associations across the U.S. and Canada came for the granddaddy of them all. And when all was said and done, a new world champion was crowned, as independent Jim Dimmerman drove a Rotax-powered home-built sled, was able to hold Gary Vessar of the Skidoo factory team to claim the top prize. Ending the second weekend of the Northwoods Snowmobile Festival as racers loaded their sleds and prepared for the running of the Grand Prix Saint Laurent, scheduled for Valcourt in just 3 weeks. The Northwoods snowmobile scene shifted from Eagle River to Minocqua, Wisconsin for the third and final week of snowmobile activities. Midweek activities from fish boils to snowdeos led up to the world champion snowmobile speed runs, while attracting the world's most unique speed machines, some capable of reaching speeds well over 150 miles per hour. Although a new world speed record was not established at Minocqua, the thousands of people who attended the festival found 3 days did not leave disappointment because there was many other activities to occupy a person's time. And so the first Northwoods Snowmobile Festival ever to be held in the United States came to a close. When completed, the event entertained thousands who combined snowmobiling and partying, totaling 16 full days. The weather was ideal for the North Wisconsin event, leaving satisfied snowmobilers asking the popular question, when will the 1985 event be held? Meanwhile, Valcourt, Quebec put the finishing touches into place, and the second International Snowmobile Festival was ready to open its snowy area for a snowmobile festival held in the French-Canadian town known for its hospitality, as well as being the birthplace of the Skidoo. The second International Snowmobile Festival, held February 10th, 11th, and 12th, 1984, attracted snowmobile enthusiasts from every province in Canada, as well as the United States and many European countries. Why, one group of snowmobilers drove well over 3,000 miles, a trip which started in British Columbia and ended 4 weeks later in Valcourt. The second International Snowmobile Festival was enjoyed by thousands who participated in virtually every kind of snowmobile and winter game. The world's largest snowmobile parade included over 2,000 machines and covered an area extending many blocks. To help celebrate the 25th anniversary of Skidoo, many entered their antique machines in the fun. There were snow cars, snow groomers, exotic machines. One person drove a motorized Skidoo crate. And while the town of Valcourt came alive with merriment, just a few miles north, snowmobile racers from the U.S. and Canada were holding time trials and eliminations for Sunday's running of one of the richest snowmobile races on the international circuit, the Grand Prix of Saint Laurent. The second International Snowmobile Festival will be entered in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's largest cake ever to be assembled and decorated in the world was accomplished in honor of the 25th anniversary of Skidoo. And who better to cut the cake's first piece than the family and relatives of the inventor of the Skidoo, J. Armand Bombardier. Clowns, games, and plenty of fun in Valcourt during the daylight hours were enjoyably blending into an evening schedule of outdoor entertainment in front of the Festival Ice Palace, which had acted as the center of activities. After feeding hundreds of people during an outdoor cookout, which took just 2 short hours, the unseasonably warm temperatures drew even more people to the bonfire, an evening of traditional and modern entertainment. To say the first day of International Snowmobile Festival activities was a success is an understatement. The day's activities reinforced the total festival concept and further paved the way for the planning of future events which will be held around the world. As Sunday morning skies cleared over Valcourt's completely remodeled Grand Prix Saint-Laurent snowmobile track, more than 15,000 fans came to witness the racing of the second major race to highlight a snowmobile festival. Similar to its U.S. sister race, the Eagle River Derby, the Grand Prix Saint-Laurent was dominated by Skidoo snowmobiles and its impressive list of international drivers. The grand finale could have been anybody's race, but when the snow dust cleared and darkness befell the Valcourt track, it was Skidoo independent Larry Van Dyke who had taken top honors. Bombardier, the company that started the sport of snowmobiling, is proud to have played a key role in helping to expand its many forms of family enjoyment. As the Snowmobile Festival concept grows throughout North America, providing fun for millions of snowmobilers and non-snowmobilers alike, Bombardier and its thousands of employees and dealers hope that this winter you'll find time to enjoy the fun of a snowmobile festival. It'll be the winter time of your life.
And now, ready for action, presenting Skidoo Sportswear for 1985. Unsurpassed in style, Skidoo breaks the trail with the hottest fashion forecast ever. Bold and bright, fashion superior in style and quality. Skidoo Sportswear for 85, into the sport of looking good. Rugged durability, ready to meet the demands of rough riding. Every Skidoo garment is smartly styled, constructed of only the finest materials available. Tested to meet the Skidoo standards for maximum warmth, durability, and waterproofing, keeping the cold and wet out and the warmth in. Practical fashionability, distinctively warm. Every Skidoo garment is insulated with the warmest fiber fill there is, DuPont Hollow-Fill 808. DuPont Hollow-Fill 808. Millions of fibers, not strands, trapping the heat better than any other fiber fill on the market today. This new generation of lightweight materials are distinctively styled, ready to set the pace for record sales in 1985. Notice the fashion trends detailing your customer will look for. Wider shoulders, shorter length, more fit. These features are highlighted in accent piping, an important look. The lines sleek and trim, ready for action. Styles and materials chosen for flexibility, easy to wear and even easier to care for. Master crafted, Skidoo fashions are created for versatility. Careful consideration goes into every design. European and American sportswear influences are carefully studied, and only those design influences which are determined to be contemporary classics are incorporated into exclusive fashions bearing the Skidoo name. Your customer will appreciate a more sophisticated look for 85. Sophisticated styling that looks as great on the ski slopes as it does blazing a trail. Skidoo's international fashionability will attract an even larger clientele, For you, the dealer. The fashion-conscious customer will find Skidoo sportswear setting the pace in fashionability at a competitive price. Classic neutrals prevail on the fashion scene. Skidoo uses soft grays, highlighted with bright piping. Sleek black, blushed with a splash of color in Skidoo's newest chevron pattern. You'll see variations of this design in the Citation jacket, a very hot number that's sure to be a bestseller. For the rugged individualist, details refined to classic good looks. The longer Skidoo jacket features a storm flap over the zipper with flaps to keep it closed. There's even a waist cord for secure fit and even greater body heat retention. Keep in mind Skidoo's outstanding fashion features. Epaulets, the extended shoulder, very stylish asymmetrical front closures, and the ever-popular mandarin collar for additional neck protection. Dynamic styling, impeccably detailed. It's a natural evolution, interchangeable sportswear coordinates ready for impact, crafted with integrity. The impulse of the moment, Skidoo accessories. When you run with the fast crowd, Skidoo's got the formula. Sensational sportswear ready for action in 1985.